Huh? What? No, I hate that song. I sang it too many times.
I don't regret the past. The past was great. I mean, it's it's a privilege to be able to have had so much success and be able to play in front of so many people and everything.
Hello, I'm not finished. I am not finished. So
things are working out good. I mean, it's like now we're working more like into the future, and it's more motivating. There's a lot of work that had to be done from the past, had to be fixed up. It took a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of frustrations. But now it's more or less behind us.
So let's sing a song, an old one, a song you know. Cover the Road, okay?
He's talking shit again. And the shit he talks about.
You might say you're greedy. You might say you're free.
I don't remember my first time. I remember crying, not being allowed to go because I was too young, and then eventually my father said okay. And my first job was I got a hat, and I passed the hat, and I got tambourine. That was it.
We started off back then in Spain with on weekends, and they used to go around to restaurants and play in restaurants. And I was not allowed. I was 5 at that time, and I used to cry and make a theater every time. I knew exactly Friday evening they're going out.
So dreary, yeah, love may be a shame.
That was awful because they would leave and we'd be crying and I want to go, Father. Why can't I go? I want to go sing. And I remember once family left for 6 months. I didn't see my brothers and sisters for 6 months. That was the worst thing. If I think about it, I start crying right now too, because as a kid, it's like your brothers and sisters are just, it was home, and home was gone.
Well, here is the easy, oh, there is the hard way. It's either one. Just cover the road.
Sometimes when I was like a few months old, they say that I would be sleeping on the stage while the other ones were playing, and then they would try to put me in the back, and I would wake up right away because I would hear or feel that I'm not on stage with the others, and I could only sleep on stage with the others playing.
You might say you're greedy. You might say you're free.
We used to hate it to have to stay home. We wanted to go with the big ones. We just made ourselves so good that they couldn't do it without us.
Yeah, cover the road.
I remember going crazy. I remember I used to love the trips on the weekends, going out. We used to go to ski resorts and things of that sort. For me, it was one of the nicest times of my life, really, when I was a kid. I had a very good childhood, I did.
Cover the road. Cover the road till the end of time. Thank you.
Before we go any further, allow me to introduce the principals. In no particular order, the Kelly family are Paddy, Angelo, Patricia, Jimmy, Joey, and Maite. And there's a few other faces we should put names to if for no other reason than you'll be seeing quite a bit of them. Joining the Kellys on stage are Christian and Matthias. And among the many who helped to get the Kellys onto the stage are Frank.
Frank just thinks he's the production manager. He's actually Sister Frederick, and he just plays it. It's okay, we let him play it.
But he's not okay.
And Tartson.
If you want to know everything, wait a year and read my book.
And who are the Kelly family? Well, with apologies to the thousands who already know all this, the Kelly family are a group who've been playing their music and selling their records all over Europe for over 20 years, and yet the drummer's only 21. They can claim roots in America and Spain, they carry Irish passports, and they live in Germany, so they've been around a bit. Along the way, there've been a few different lineups. Some people have left, some people have joined, some people have died. Things change.
You know what? Let them turn off the light and give it a minute or two before we all walk on stage. Whatever. Just let it be dark. You know what I'm saying?
But they're still here, still doing it, still living it.
Excuse me, Mr. Kelly.
So let me start all this with a confession. The truth is I'm slightly confused how to best explain exactly what it is you're about to watch. In large part, it's a road movie. But it's more than just that. In part, it's also a story about an extraordinary group of people, about who they are and how they got to here. But it can't be too much about that. Someday, somebody will tell that story, and when they do, we can all go and see the movie. But it's not what we're here to do. What we're here to do is to drop a marker, present a time slice of a brief moment in the life of a truly remarkable band. We will of course take the occasional look back. How can anyone know where they're going to if they don't know where they're coming from? But looking back isn't what the Kelly family is all about.
What's the matter, you people? What's the matter, you say? What's the matter, you people? It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day.
This band is all about the future, about what's to come. And this film, if it's about anything at all, is about the right now. Or at least the right now that was when we were there, filming them on and off stage, talking to them, watching them, experiencing for just a moment the view from inside their own unique fishbowl. The future, a great man once said, starts now. So let this be a document of that beginning. And first, last, and always, it starts with the music.
What's the matter, you people? What's the matter, you say? What's the matter, you people? It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day.
It's always thrilling. You know what? Sometimes it's not, but every day you find a new reason why you should get up there and why you have to. And then when you do get up there, you just all of a sudden realize, yeah, it was the right thing to do. It was great, and it's just an incredible life that it's an incredible present that you can do this, that you can just stand up there and do your music, enjoy yourself, people clap. I mean, imagine you went to the post office, you work in the post office, and every time you walk out of your job, people clap. And you know, they praise you for that. You're just doing something you enjoy. You know what I'm saying? And still you get paid for it. And I mean, you don't enjoy it every day, but in truth, yeah, it's amazing.
What's the matter, you say?
Once in a while you think about, you know, the people that come to see a concert and what they have to do. You know, they first of all, they have to save some money, most of them, to buy a ticket. And, you know, they get dressed. They, you know, go out and drive and park somewhere. It costs a lot of money sometimes also, way, you know, out like 500 meters away or whatever. And, you know, they stand in line and the whole fucking thing. And if you think about that, you realize, Jesus, my God, you know, and okay, better give your best.
There are magical moments on stage, which are really a blessing. You know, there are certain moments on stage where you go, wow, this is a real privilege, where everything is just perfect, almost you could say, you know. The music, the crowd, the atmosphere, your voice is working well, and those are real special moments that I really appreciate.
Let's just take a brief glance back over our collective shoulder. The Kellys used to play in stadiums, and not that long ago either. The question has to be asked, do you appreciate those moments more when they happen in front of 1,500 or 50,000?
'Cause everybody thought this was going to be one more freak show. 'Cause everybody thought this was going
I don't
to
think
be
size counts,
one more other
but
strokes.
I'd be lying if I say that you don't try a bit harder when you have 10,000 people than if you have 200 people.
It's another world out here. It's a wild world.
Just because they all came, they all paid, and you want to reach that person at the last seat.
Standing by that seat to save my life from the HIV.
But I think it doesn't matter whether you have 20 people or 200,000 people. 200,000 people is not going to make your band better. Your band has got to have its own reasons. It's got to have its own motivations to want to be a good band.
On fire now. The word is out. The people are down and we're on the run. Is it justice from heaven? Sent from hell? The world on fire now. Something is going wrong.
It's a kick. It's great. It's super. Because you feel appreciated, but no more. But having 20 people and seeing their smiles because they're this near, and maybe one absolutely flipping out, dancing away, it's just fucking great.
Everybody thought this was gonna be one more freak
It's obvious we don't have the kind of success that we did have, say, 4, 5, or 6 years ago. By success, I mean people, record sales, charts, enters, and so forth. But on the other hand, I think as a band, musically, we're more successful. That's my opinion. I think we're having more fun on stage, and I think that we're not just going through the motions. So the moment is like we're trying to grow, we're trying to come forward.
It's another world. It's a wild world.
Every show is like we try to make it a bit better and a bit better, and that's a good feeling. It's kind of a growing feeling where you're onto something that you're perfecting, and so I really enjoy this period very much.
It's much stronger, and it's really developing, and it's going in a very beautiful direction. And it's very exciting to watch because it looks like it's like a new baby. It's a very wise baby compared to the other one. It's dangerous. If it's a clone, then it's gonna die. It's gonna have a malfunction. It's gonna break, crack. I feel like I'm happy with my life now, and I'm enjoying every minute. With my family, without my family, in my life. I'm trying to live in the moment, not in, back then when things were better, and the future, things will be better. I try to live now, live the fullest now, and I think that's what us six are doing.
So Jimmy, do you ever get tired of being on the road?
Huh. Yeah.
Do you get homesick?
Yeah, if I only knew where home was. But I do get homesick, that's a strange thing.
Christmas time! Christmas tour! But we're not singing Christmas songs.
This new phase in the evolution of the Kelly family began in earnest with the recording and release of the band's last studio album, La Patata. A bit of context is in order here. The Kellys have sold millions of records all over Europe. Compared to their most successful albums, sales of La Patata have been relatively modest. But maybe enormous sales figures isn't what La Patata is all about.
I think it's a beginning of a new chapter, but the first page is always a little bit blank. And this is kind of, we had to come back together. So I find the album very a compilation of everybody's ego. And I think the next album will be much rounder.
Please welcome Angelito!
I don't know how important it was, but I think it was important in the fact that it kept us together in a time where we would have probably all, or most of us, gone our own direction.
Some of the doctors, I think, are acting up. It's cloning humans. I do believe it's playing out.
If it weren't for La Patata and if it weren't for the fact that I had to do this album, I think the Kelly family would have been definitely over.
Stop all these wars. The human race is committing suicide. Every one of us is playing a little part.
You know, we had an alternative name for it that we almost called it, and it was Por los pelos. It means by the hairs. That we barely made it.
In the name of justice, justice isn't done with murder. Modern society's based on family. Without foundation, we'll turn into a hopeless generation. Please, no more, to stop all these wars. The human race is committing suicide.
I think it's great that it happened, because it really did. If we hadn't made a record at that time, by now I think most of us would be doing mostly our own thing, you know, or maybe 2 or 3 of us would be together and the others wouldn't. You know, they'd do their own solo records and stuff. So it had its function in, you know, to pay the bills and to get all these. You know, it made us go on tour, and it's a learning process of how to work with each other at the moment.
Wouldn't it be nice if it would be like children, playing soccer all day and building crazy tree house? So please, no more, I'm begging you to stop all these wars. 1, 2, 3. The human race is committing suicide. Every one of us. There's a real bad disease spreading worldwide. If it doesn't affect you physically, it will creep into your heart.
Before it was easier in some ways that, you know, when you have one boss, you know, you have a structure, you're in charge of that, you're in charge of that, and then you just check with your guy up top, you know, and that was my father. And here you have 5 people or 6 people, all young adults, trying to work with each other in a democratic way. I don't know if democracy works that well, you know, especially when it comes to an art form like music. It's just a difficult thing.
Yeah, they're pretty crazy. I hope it will change. Otherwise I'm out of here.
The democratic process of making a Kelly family record is further strained when it comes to song selection. Each member of this band writes their own music, so in effect you have 6 songwriters fighting for a limited amount of song space on each album. If you look at this equation in any detail, it doesn't take you too long to realise that if you're in any way prolific as a songwriter, if you write more than a couple of songs a year, that you'll very quickly have quite a tidy pile more songs in your notebook than there's space for on a record.
That's great, Kelly. That's really good. I think writing it's the easiest thing, which is almost a problem for me. For Angelo, for instance, he'll compose like one song a month or something, you know. I'll be throwing out several songs a day, and I wouldn't finish one. After 2 days, I just get bored of them and go on. And so, for me, it's a question of just spitting it out, just getting it out of my stomach.
I think it's hard to write a song when you try to write a song. When a song comes to you, you try to just catch it or transmit it. It's not hard. The singer of Coldplay said, songs don't come from us, they come to us. I think that's very true. It's like a thought, it's like an inspiration, like an idea. It just comes to you, and then, all right, putting it all together with the band, that could be difficult sometimes. The actual writing of the song, I don't find it difficult.
Tell me what to set you free. Say, I'm not scared now. Hey, I'm not scared now. Just wasting all my time.
So here's the thing about writing a song. After you discover the melody and work out the hooks and bridges and all that other stuff musicians love, when you've written the lyrics and struggled with the chorus, when you've got all that done and you're happy with your efforts, your next step is to present the song to your brothers and sisters so they can judge if it's good enough for them to want to play on. Can that possibly be as much fun as it sounds?
And just in case you're not aware, this is Generation Me.
It's horrible. It's the worst process, really. You know, because it's personal. A song is a personal thing, and the worst thing to do is, or the thing that hurts, is that they change it for you, you know, and they make it their own, and it becomes someone else's. But you know, that's, if you don't want to do that, do a solo record, you know. On the other hand, sometimes a song which you don't really think is great, they all of a sudden, they go like, wow, you know, you got a good song there. We can do something with that. And then they really do something, and you're surprised. And then you go like, oh yeah, I knew that, you know.
The first song I wrote was for a girl, and it went like this. Brenda, my love, 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 and on and on and on.
I didn't have a chorus.
That was the chorus. It was like, I'm sailing just the whole time. I am sailing. I was 7 years old.
And I'm guessing the inspiration was a girl called Brenda.
Yeah.
And where is Brenda today?
She's in Egypt.
The other thing about writing and recording a song is that what you've done is unleash a little time capsule that floats around forever. And songs elicit a different response in everyone who hears them. Whatever the song meant to you when you wrote it, it can and usually does mean something entirely different to the person who listens to it, who sings along to it, who plays it alone in a dark room or driving along in their car, or who belts it out in a karaoke bar. You might have written it about your pet, but to someone else it's about their mother or husband, girlfriend or son. You might have dreamt it up in a moment of unbridled joy, but to them it's about the death of a loved one. Music is the most evocative art form, and some songs just never go away.
I'll do it all. I'll do it all again.
if I don't do music, meaning if I don't have a guitar in my hand, sing, play drums, or produce, or anything like that, for 3 weeks, I start going mad, and I wouldn't be able to have a relationship with Kira and be a father or anything, because I'd just be a different person. I am a different person. I notice if I'm caught up with other things, and I realize after 2 weeks, hey, geez, I haven't played drums in 2 weeks and haven't really written a song, and no wonder I'm in a weird mood. I can help myself. I wrote it when I was 13, so it does have a certain innocence to it. You know, it's simple from the lyrics, but it's a good song, and I always loved singing it, and I meant it when I wrote it. You know, I just wrote it somewhere in some room. I was fully in love since 2 years with Kira, we've been together now for 4 years, and have 2 kids, and I wrote that because she didn't know it. And I was like, that was my letter to her. And I was like, I love you, I want you, I want to talk with you, I want to be with you, and that whole shit and everything. I love you, I want you, I want to talk to you. I cannot change it, should I? In an interview with some teeny magazine, they asked me for who did I write the song, and I said I wrote it for a girl. Left it at that. And later on, when the interview came out, it said I wrote it for my father. And I was like, how could this be? There's lyrics in that song: "Kiss me, thrill me, don't say goodbye." I'm like, hello? If I were 30 and I wrote that song, they would like kiss my ass. You know what I'm saying? Bullshit. You don't write that lyrics. You don't write that way. But I was 13 and I felt that way, and that's why it's a great song. And that's why I still love singing it, because I meant it and I still mean it.
That's why it's a great job, because it makes you grow as a person. You're very egoistic as an artist. You think this is you composed this song, you think you just made this song, and soon enough you realize it's not you. This thing was just, it came through you or something, and it belongs to everybody, especially the good songs. I think all great songs belong to everybody. They don't belong to the artist, because he's just speaking everybody's mind or everybody's heart or whatever you want to call it. He has the craft to let it channel through him, and that's it.
So I can say I ain't meant to be your wife.
So how's that for a deal? You get through the process of writing, you risk the ridicule, you release the song, and then everyone else gets to own it. On top of that, remember the tidy pile of songs in that notebook? Well, if you're part of a band that includes 5 other songwriters, the amount of songs you can get in any one album is seriously limited. So you either live with that, or you find another outlet for your music.
I think for the long-term immune system of this family's unity, it is necessary that each one has enough creative, personal, private, whatever it is, space to accomplish their own personal goals and dreams as well. Otherwise, you're going to have a couple frustrated people, including myself, just doing it out of goodwill. And like Joey with his sport, you know, he's got his own thing going on the side, and still he's with the family, still working in the company. That's how I see it with my solo album as well, my band. It'd be like a parallel thing to what I'm doing with my brothers and sisters. Because there's just the fact that if you do an album, you get 2 or 3 songs, you know, if you have a good year. And on your own album, you can do 10, 12, 14. Just that fact alone is, it's fulfilling.
But Paddy isn't the first of the Kellys to contemplate a solo career. His younger sister, Maite, took a few steps down that particular career path before him, but that's a fact that won't surprise anybody who knows Maite. She's not an easy character to tie down. In fact, it might be easier to tie down a tornado. Maite is what you might call a force of nature.
She's overwhelming life, just a bomb of life, like an explosion of life, like very overwhelming in many ways. When she sits here, you're not going to be able to just ignore her, you know?
Ask me a question. I'll answer it for you.
Just tell us, Mikey, do you ever get bored touring?
Oh, no, never. Never. I'm an actress.
My main passion, it's even more than on stage, to be honest, is writing a song. So what happens is, when I go to normal places, I suck in people, you know, and then I go home and I write. I'm always writing.
See the angels cry at her side.
When I was a kid, I just went along. And then there was a time I said, wait a minute, what is really important to me? Is this what I really want? Some go-alonger, you know? I don't want to be a go-alonger. I want to have a free will. I want to choose. There was a time where I wanted to leave the band and say, guys, I want a normal life and the whole deal, and tried it. Didn't work. So I went to the States. I had a band. I recorded demos, and I didn't have much money, you know. I went to school, and I had 4 things going at the same time. And then, before I did my first gig with my band, the bassist said, "Fuck off. You're a bitch." And then I came back, and I had one of the biggest management agencies here in Cologne, very, very interested, and we were talking. I almost signed up. Really, I mean, I had a record deal, and they offered a lot of money, really a lot of money, and I refused it. I'm not a hero. I got scared, and I didn't know why I got scared. And now Paddy's going through this, making the steps that I did. I pulled back from, and I'm so happy I said no. So happy I said no. As a soloist, as a solo artist, it's not appealing.
And you sit and you go like, wow, that's incredible. And she's like, holy mackerel, where did she come from now? She'll do the most stupid things you can do. And then the next day she'll do the greatest things that any one of us wouldn't get close to it on stage, you know? She'll there and then break barriers. It's like her therapy room or something, you know? Sometimes she'll take a song for 15 minutes and goes on a huge ego trip, and you go like, oh, come on now, you know? And that really, Angelo just goes nuts, you know? Angelo's there. And after the show, whenever she does that, he goes, right, you do it one more time, I'm gonna walk off stage, and you can just continue by yourself, you know? He still hasn't walked off stage, but I've seen him being right at the edge of it.
This is our audience, and this is the biggest choir I have ever sang with. Are you guys ready to sing? Are you guys professionals? Are you guys pop stars?
I would call it a healthy competition because, like, if my thing comes up with something that you say, oh, that was cool, it makes you think about yourself, like, maybe I should think of something too. But, you know, if somebody does something that you don't think is cool, you go, ah, that was bad, boo, boo, that was crap. So we do, you know, we do pick on each other, but we do also admire each other. You know, when Angelo does a good drum solo, you go, wow, that's good, Angelo. Or, I don't know, if Jimmy will sing really good or just get the audience really in his hand, you go, hey, makes me have to work harder. So I think it's a healthy competition because it's constant growth going on, you know?
I've had it. I'm leaving these guys. That's it. Finito. The truth is, I don't know anything. I don't even know what's going on here. Can you figure it out? Can you figure out what's going on? I can't figure it out. I don't understand. I really don't understand why we still, how we still manage to get on stage together. I don't get it. You know, in spite of all the arguments, all the disagreements, all whatever you want to call it, all the human reasons why it's impossible to get 6 brothers and sisters together. I think I always get surprised. I always think, my God, it's today is the last day. I always think this next week I'm out of here, you know? And we still, like, and I've tried to leave like 1,000,000 times.
You guys make me sick. Ruining my fucking shit. I'm like, all day kissing ass. All fucking day I'm kissing.
One reason why all this still works lies in the organisation.
You're a manager of divas.
I mean, what a wreck. It really went me out.
None of this happens by accident.
Joyce, it's time for somebody else.
Only in the movies do the band turn to each other and say, let's do the show right here. Well, only in the movies and in the early days of the Kelly family, but not now. There's a very serious and a very professional organisation behind the Kellys. Concerts and tours don't organise themselves. And at the top of all such organisations, there usually sits a manager.
Joy! Our manager!
Every band needs a manager. The Beatles had Epstein, the Rolling Stones Oldham, U2 have Paul McGuinness. The list goes on. The best band managers tend to attract labels like imposing, dogged, volatile, ruthless even. In the brave new world of the New Look Kelly family, things are slightly different, but many of the management duties fall into Joey, who's happy to bask in the warm glow of his siblings' thanks and appreciation.
I mean, booking concerts is the last job you want to have. You know why? Because every day that passes is a new day you have to book, right? And you're only as good as your last tour. You always get complaints. Nothing is good enough. It obviously has to be always sold out. It always has to be big. Why are we playing in a smaller venue? Last year we played in the same town in a bigger venue. Or the venue was sold out. Why isn't it sold out this time? Who fucked up? It isn't like, oh, it's sold out. You did a great job. None of that. It's always like, it's never good enough.
If it's hard to label any of the Kellys, and it is, it's especially hard to label Joey. Joey is demanding, but he demands of others no more than the same level of commitment and effort that he demands of himself. But you're talking about a man who competed in and completed 9 Ironman tournaments in 1 calendar year. And armed with that little nugget, you can start to appreciate how difficult it might be to satisfy those demands.
We're touring, we're making money. The last record didn't sell bad. And what more do you want? We can keep this level. And this year, we got different projects coming up. The summer tour is working out. I got already 20, 30 concerts booked. We're gonna have 50 concerts booked for summer, open airs, festivals, everything. And for the Christmas, we've got a complete new concept. That's work. It's a huge challenge. We played 46 concerts or 50 concerts in Germany last year. Any band, Bryan Adams, the biggest German bands, whatever you call it, if they played every year 50 concerts in Germany, they wouldn't fill half of what we're filling. That's the truth. So in fact, we're the biggest band in Germany there is, you know what I'm saying? And they don't have a chance against us. I mean, they go on tour every 2-3 years, they play 20 concerts, they fill like 4 or 5 or 6 or 7, 8,000 people. I mean, the long run, the amount, we are more than double. We are the biggest band, still, you know what I'm saying? After 10 years of An Angel or Over the Hump, you know what I'm saying? That's fact.
You know what I was saying about the magic moments, like, who is the feeling tonight there? It was great.
Don't believe a word he says. Or, what did he
Jerry,
say?
you're great on stage. Love, music, and stuff. We should hire this guy.
Jerry, you're the star, Jerry. You're the...
Gosh, how do I explain joy? Well, the best way to explain joy is my father used to use this word called joyism. It's Joey's style of doing things, of being himself. And how do you explain joyism? I don't know. Jeez, Morris, you got these questions I don't have answers for.
Joey, today is his birthday, and today Joey is 30.
Listen to this. I mean, this is a birthday present like you don't get. You can't buy it. You can't pay for it. It's like, it's just unique, right? Yesterday, with the promoter, who's in the bar? The lead singer from Scorpions, Klaus Meinl, The Voice, right? I walk in, I say, oh, how you doing, Klaus? Hello, hello. He's there with a few people, and this promoter says, hey, Klaus, you know, Joe's birthday. I say, shut up, forget it. He goes, is it? Let's sing you a song. So they all sing, happy birthday, dude. I go, oh, great. I tell Klaus, you know, if my family knew that you were singing me a song, you know, happy birthday, you'd be shitting in the pants. I mean, it's like, this is a privilege. I mean, we're like huge fans. I mean, just wouldn't have changed. Every time we hear it in the radio, it's like, give it to me. Right, anyway, there he goes. And one of his colleagues says like, hey, sing him a song. So he goes, shh, silence. He sings me a cappella, the whole song, not like one phrase, the whole fucking song, for me. The whole song. Klaus Meinl sang me Wind of Change a cappella on my birthday. So you guys are nothing.
Forget about it. The Voice has sold himself to the city of gold.
He's still The Voice, Jimmy. You sang for me, and not for you. Musically, the last 3 years, not only I have stayed where I was, I've come back. That's the truth. The last song I wrote, the last album.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next song is called True Love.
It's about whatever, you know. My wife, my kid, and it's a bit schmaltz. It's a bit cliche. It's not really deep. You know what I'm saying? It's not a real song that you can say it's something that I wrote out of my soul.
People talking about true love all around, but I've never seen it. I must be too young. You learn and you
I never had it easy. For me, writing music was always hard. It was always a battle. It never flowed, you know what I'm saying? It's like Paddy could write a song and he could finish the text for tonight. He would do it. He would play 3 songs. You know what I'm saying? If I had to do it, of course I would slap something together, but it wouldn't be at any level that you can really say that's music.
I've learned and I've burned, now I'm happy. I have my own family, with a smile on our face. Hold on, all I want is that smile in my child.
My goal was with 30 to be able to play guitar really good, and by being a strong, good musician, it also helps being able to write music, because you're just doing music, so you're thinking music, so you're living music, you know what I'm saying? You're listening radio because you're feeding from it. And otherwise, I'm just listening radio because my phone's battery is off. I know if I was able to stop the business and work, like, let's say, realistic 4 hours a day on music, in 3 to 5 years, I would be musically not as good as Angelo, because Angelo keeps getting better, but I'll be close to him.
'Cause when it gets hard, 'cause life ain't easy, running is easy, staying is hard.
Writing songs is, I would be much better than I am, but I can't say I would be better than Paddy or anybody, because songs you can't say this song is better than that one. It's like, songs are not like something you can say it's better or not better. It's the taste, you know.
So give us all our love. It was meant to be. It is strong, yes it is.
Anyway, Tarzan's, he spent a lot of intimate time with the family, so he knows us quite well. If anybody ever wants to know the real side of the Kelly family, Tarzan is definitely a source that you can't
If you
deny.
want to know everything, wait a year and read my book.
You're fired! You're fired! This guy's fired!
Joyce.
What was that all about?
Because you see, starting to lose our heads now. Towards the middle of the tour, people start getting freaky.
Yeah. And we're exactly today, we're exactly in the middle of the road.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, some people get sick, you know, physically sick, like me. But some people get sick, mentally sick, like him.
Body, brain, and mind.
Yeah. Well. Joe, we're doing Silent Night at the end of the show.
Okay.
Am
I singing solo again?
Yeah, you're the front man on that one.
It's like I get less than that. Every tour we play, there's one less song of mine. It's like, I'm not even needed anymore. These guys are like, slowly but surely trying to fire me. I think it's important. We have to get to what's most important. Doing the business, you tend to forget what really is the key to the success. That's the music, that's the performance up there. So if I'm up there on stage standing like a mummy, the people are not dumb, they feel it, but I'm up there not really, you know, there. I'm somewhere else, I'm in the office with my head, and that's no good. That's dangerous, you know what I'm saying? But I have to work on that, and I am working on that. You know, I know that at the long term, I have to start musically working again. In fact, I wanted to start on the here now, beginning of January, but it's just everything takes longer than you think it does, and there are certain things which I'm not rid of from the past. You know, it's everything from the past. Trust me. In the future, there's more work than you can handle, obviously, but it's work that gives you energy. It's not work that eats you up.
Somehow you don't walk away from a meeting with Joey worrying that anything will eat him up. When you think about Joey, words that spring to mind don't include fragile or unsure. In short, Joey Kelly seems quite happy being Joey Kelly.
Yeah, I love it. I do. I mean, I wouldn't want to change with Jimmy.
The story of the Kelly family continues to be a remarkable one. The bizarre lifestyle we've alluded to, living on buses and barges, travelling from town to town, playing and singing, earning an honest living from the people, learning your lessons at the University of Life, all sounds terribly idyllic, and the truth is, it sometimes was. But it sometimes very definitely wasn't. All those who know the story of the Kellys also know that the great patriarch of the family was Dan Kelly, the father of all the Kellys. His, legend has it, was the dream. He, the story goes, was the driving force. All of which is true, but incomplete as stories go. Barbara Ann Kelly, Dan's second wife, stood shoulder to shoulder beside her husband and at the head of their family until her untimely death in 1982. The role Barbara Ann played cannot be overestimated.
I remember now the evening I met you. Wrong I was to judge someone so quick.
Well, I think my mom is the real hero of the story. The quiet hero, and especially now when I have one child, every day I just think of my mother and I think, how does she do this, you know? And I have a home, I have facilities she didn't have then. You know, once we did get on the road, it was just a little bus, you know?
No one but you. I love as a fool. One is she said, you're just so cool.
She was a goddess. She was a woman. She was beautiful. She was everything. Everything that you would want as a woman, as a mother. She was just loving. All she did was take care of her kids all day long. She just got up and in the middle of the night and in the morning and all day long. She was very different to my father. She really was, you know. My father was like a fire. And my mother was water, clear water, like calm water.
Have to sleep under a bridge, hard times away. But in your arms anywhere it's Hotel Hilltown. I just want to live with you for the rest of my life.
I think that my father could have never ever pulled this through without her supporting him. And I'm sure sometimes it wasn't easy for her to support him because he was mad at times, you know. He was a crazy guy, and I mean, I was thinking to myself, if I had a husband like that, I don't think I would have done what she did, you know. But I suppose she must have been so in love with him and she believed in him.
Brighten my days. I thank God for you.
She brought the best out of my father. If she ever did that, that would be a big effect on my father. You know, my father was a softie at heart, you know, he really was, especially for her.
Another effect Barbara Ann had in her family centred around something she said shortly before she died. She urged them all to keep on singing, a request that would become something of a weight in the months and years ahead.
just wanna be with you all the time.
I think she meant keep on singing in spirit. Sing in the real sense of singing, that don't be, you don't have to get out there and sing. It wasn't an order. My mother never gave an order. Never. I think it's a deeper meaning.
But you know what? It was the music that kept us through those hard times. If we hadn't had the music, first of all, it kept us unified, and it kept us. We had a common thing, we all had a common thing to do together.
You call this guy faggot? Oh no, just stop here. Stop saying that. I ain't beleidigt. I don't care what he doesn't give a fuck. I'm beleidigt.
It could be said that the Kellys are a very volatile bunch.
I think it's important that people understand that we have rows, and we have more rows than most families, because we are constantly together and because we're artists. Artists are just incredibly difficult people.
One of the great things about families is that they tend to know exactly which buttons to push.
Let's do the show. Fight. Well, I always say that dialogue is the most important, It's when there's no dialogue, positive or negative, that's when I think that things are dying. There's no spirit, there's no fire. Sometimes it's too much, I mean, the boys can be kind of, and so I have my own place, and I pull back, and I just kind of chill out, Don't get involved in the storm.
Here I am. Yes, here I come. Won't you hold my hand one more time?
Make peace right now. You hear the fans. Make peace right now. Make peace right now. You can't go with faggot. Shut up. Everybody raise your hand.
It should be remembered that the storm isn't always of their own making. And something that can never be overlooked is the fact that in a very real sense, these guys did their growing up in public.
Everybody raise your hand.
The crowd will mostly tell you the truth. Mostly. Unless they're hardcore fans, then you have a problem.
From very early on, the group has been surrounded by fans. Everywhere they go, there are fans. And the Kelly fans are loyal to a fault. They'll queue overnight for the tickets to go on sale. They'll queue overnight outside venues waiting to get in. Wherever a Kelly appears, there will be fans. And this is great. Without the fans, there would be no ticket sales, no album sales, no audience. fans are like an extended family, and within any family, there will be tension.
But here I am, and here I come. Won't you hold my hand one more time?
The notion of family is hugely important to the Kellys. Dan Kelly had 4 children with his first wife and 8 with his second wife, Barbara Ann. That's a whole lot of children. The youngest Kelly, Angelo, was only a baby when his mother died, but the baby of the family is now a father himself.
At the first time I was at the hospital, 1 hour after his first child was born, I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it. I was like, hang on, you're my younger brother, and this is your kid. It's like, wow.
Flying through space, in my dream, there I saw your face, surrounded by all the stars. We took a little trip to Mars. That was nice. Oh, that was nice.
I really admire them for the way they just, like if it's normal, like if it's just no question about it, you know. It's 21 and 2 kids, and they're beautiful kids. They're just so beautiful. It really freaks me out.
Angelo isn't the only parent in the group. Joey and Patricia have also been busy starting their own families, and mixing these jobs of father, mother, and full-time musician isn't easy.
How do you do? How do you do?
I love music, but well, maybe at the moment my priorities are different. You know, I have a baby and a husband, and I put more time into other things. Just whenever I have any free time, really, I just try and spend some time with my family, my own family.
If any group of people are equipped to cope with this particular juggling act, well, it's this group of people. And the Kellys have always been exposed to music themselves, so it would be strange if the same wasn't true for their own kids.
My first child, Alexander, he's 14, 15 months, and he's crazy about music. I mean, just the other day, his grandma came over and she bought some Celtic music in Moscow, if you can believe it, the best of Celtic music. And she brought the CD over and she put it on, and I tell you, Alexander just rushed to the speakers and he started dancing like this. I couldn't believe my eyes. He's just, and every time we put that bloody CD on, he just starts dancing away. You never know. I'm not going to push him into music. You know, if he decides to do mathematics like his father, then that's fine with me. But I certainly want to give him the chance to, if he wants to.
Mrs. Speechless, how do you do?
That's it. You know what? My father was not like one of us. My father was like 5 or 6 of us. You know? That's the scary part.
Whatever way you look at it, Dan Kelly, the father of all the Kellys, was a truly remarkable man. Any long-term Kelly fans watching this already know all they need to know about Dan Kelly, but for those who don't, and put way too simply, Dan Kelly was the man with the plan. It was Dan who conceived of the notion of his family as modern-day troubadours, travelling through Europe, spreading a message of love and healing through music and song. Make no mistake, this was one of the great bohemian undertakings, and it was in huge part the power of his personality that instilled the belief in his family that this dream, and all subsequent dreams, were possible. And his dream came true. The Kellys grew from being relatively quaint, folksy buskers in sleepy Spanish villages to selling out stadiums all over Europe. Dan Kelly died last year after a long and debilitating illness. But mere death could never remove the force of a personality so colossal.
Michael Patrick. I think it was when I was 7 years old. My dad said, tonight, Paddy is going to host the show 2 hours before the show. And I was like, what do you mean? He said, yeah, Paddy, you're going to host the show. You're going to present the family, and you're going to kick off the show. And I got so nervous. I kept trying to talk myself out of it and convince my dad that I wasn't going to do it.
I know you must be thinking like, oh my God, everybody, we were probably beaten up and forced to go on stage or whatever, but it wasn't that way. The fact is, our father was already a very successful businessman, and he didn't have to do this. He was earning very good money, and he left all that for the music because he just saw that we were enjoying it and we were having a good time.
It was difficult for some people, you know. It's different how you are, what kind of person you are. If you're somebody who can, if you're somebody like me who's rough, I would say, you can absorb, you can work it out better. But some people, like maybe Patricia or even Jimmy, which are more sensitive as a person, you know. It was difficult. Maybe my father was sometimes too rough, too hard.
I did loads of looking back, criticizing my dad, saying, you know, I'd never do that, and he did everything wrong. And then comes a phase where you go like, holy Maloney, you know, wow, what an education.
No, I think it's a big reason why we give it another go, you know? Because he gave it a go over and over again, non-stop. You know, he fell on his nose like a million times. You know, if there's anything that he left behind is just, if you don't succeed, try again. And he really did. He tried. And he just kept trying. And it was all about trying his life. You can say here he did wrong, here he did good, and. Nevertheless, the guy tried, and he really tried. He really tried.
And so, anyway, 8 o'clock, went on stage, and please welcome my brother Angelo. Please welcome my sister Maite. Please welcome my brother Joey. All the way up to father, or all the way down, I don't know anymore. And then ever since then, I had to do it every show.
And I don't think that in the beginning he had the idea of making the Kelly family a big success or whatever. He was just going with the moment. He was just seeing his kids are having fun. It's a good thing. Let's do it.
He had so much courage, you know. He'd be on the street with 9 kids, and he'd be broke, and he'd be believing in himself that we're gonna be the biggest in the world, and he really believed it. That's how he convinced us that we're gonna break and all that, and we were really broke, and living the way we were living on buses, on camping places, in the ship, traveling, all this stuff. I mean, you can't beat that.
18 years later, still doing the same thing. Put your hands together for Jimmy. Put your hands together for Mighty. That's my earliest memory.
Very smart blonde in the family, Patricia Kelly.
Dan Kelly is an impossible act to follow, but that's okay. He's left behind a family that all seem entirely comfortable with that. The Kellys aren't now independent free spirits because their father is gone. They're independent free spirits because he was here in the first place. And that may well prove to be the greatest part of his legacy. But there'll probably be a few other reminders as well.
I have a house with my wife and kids. It's like more like a plain life. I say, we're not going to take this forever. I mean, this is like just too common. When Luke or the kids get bigger, if we get a few more kids, if the family takes a pause like that, we're going to go on tour, on a circus. Just do like maybe, I don't know, clowns or anything. Just for the education of the kids, to be able to travel and to understand what it is about to be on tour. Of course, when Luke and the other one get bigger, they can come on tour as well. But this is like, backstage, catering, security, driving around, important, all that shit. Anyway, get down to reality. You know what I'm saying? Circus, 2 shows a day, no security, cold, whatever, feeding the animals or traveling, driving the buses yourself and all that. That's real life, and that's education.
My name is the one and only Irish Viking in the family, Paddy Kelly. This is the Kelly family.
And so that's the Kellys. If at the end of all this you're a little confused, well, that's okay. We never said it was going to be easy. There is no easy path through the story of the Kellys. The road they've travelled is a very different one. Their view on the world is unique because they were shown the world in an entirely different way. And what should you take from it all? Well, at least take this. This is the beginning of a story and not the end of one. And where this story goes and where this band ends up isn't anything like as important as making that journey in the first place. There's very little about the Kellys that isn't remarkable, but in many ways the most remarkable thing is that they're all still here, still doing it, still living it. They have kept singing, and now they know why. They still have things to say, and they'll say those things the way they've always said them, the way they were brought up to say them. They'll say them with music, and they'll say them in songs, because this is the Kelly family, and because first, last, and always, it's about the music.
And this one is Brother Brother from Paddy. Give it up.
I don't think anybody really knows what the Kelly family is or is about. I don't think we know. It puzzles me over and over again, and I would love to just sit down and pull back and look back at everything and write and see, but maybe that would be the worst thing to do, because the minute you do that, you try to analyze it, you try to put it into a box or something, you would kill something.
Brother, 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 no matter who's right and who is wrong, just want you to know my love's still strong. I wrote you a prayer with this song. Brother, you're the brother, you told me you broke up with your wife. Been so much suffering in your life. Thanks to the grace from above, your humble heart is alive. Oh, I pray for you, 'cause someday all loved ones die. And I pray that we're rejoined in the afterlife. Brother, 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 your baby boy has his mother's eyes. With the love of you both, he'll be strong and wise. Once his muscles are grown, he'll be running side by side.
say are one. Sure, the fruits of your love will be passed on to the beautiful children still to come. Oh, I pray for you, 'cause someday all loved ones.
I have the possibility to work with my brothers and sisters, and we have the possibility to make music and be a band that has never really existed, that are not the greatest musicians in the world, but together with respect and love, we can be something special.
Father, 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 oh, I love you with all my heart. You've done an amazing part. All the angels did come when you were ready to depart. Sisters, all my sisters, I didn't forget you, don't get me wrong.
We want to get as good as we can as musicians and singers, and we know that we haven't yet attained, I don't think, even 20% of what we can attain. If we really concentrate for the next 5-10 years on the music, we just know we can get much, much better. So that's a challenge in itself as a musician, you know?
Yes, I pray that we're rejoined in the afterlife. Whoa.
And then I think after that, sure, would love to play for stadiums across the world. Still my biggest dream to go to America and fill the stadiums and just get 'em, man. No, why not?
That we're rejoined in the afterlife. You might say you're greedy, you might say you're free, and love may be so easy. Yeah, love may be so free. Cover the road, cover the road till the end of time. Thank you.